So our next speaker is Cath Atkin, who's going to be talking to us about life after stroke. And Cath, do you have any pictures that you don't want people to take photos of?
No, you're more than welcome to take photos of slides. I don't actually have any.
Well, that's
but
great.
If you want to take photos,
you can take a picture of our free Wi-Fi.
I'd like to say I do have a bit of I would like any photos taken of me. Please take 20 to 40, £50 off. Thank you very much. No, happy with that. Is there a life after? That's the sound that went off in my head when I was taking a shower. The sound only lasted a few seconds. I could also feel it in my head. And that was the sound of a clot forming in my head, in my brain. My clotting event that was to change my life was on the first day of my holiday in 2013, over in Malta, and the sunshine, looking forward to rest and catching up with friends at a health spa of all places. And I remember we had wellness rooms, can you believe? Cabinets in the beds and beautiful lotions and potions. And to get us in tip-top condition, there in the corner was a Vibraxis machine. You know, the ones that will get to your teeth drop out. Well, I'd never been on one, but of course, me being me, I wanted to try everything out. Having never been on a Vibraxis machine before, I decided to give it a go. I was soon shaking all over and was optimistic that I would soon have an athletic and toned physique by the time I jumped off it. However, it was hilarious, but only lasted about 2 minutes because I soon got bored and went for a shower. That was when the sound of the crisp packet went off in my head. I felt that I was being pulled out of the shower. I took it tightly onto the shower to hold and stay upright. Eventually I tried to step out to sit in a stool at the vanity unit. I ran out to grab hold of something, whilst all the time I was being pulled in the opposite direction. Everything seemed to happen in very slow motion at this point. At what seemed like an eternity, I sat down in the stool and steadied myself. And sometime later, I went into the living room and I sat down in the armchair. I nearly fainted, I said to my friend Sarah. Sarah turned round in her Lancashire accent and said, "Aye, you're looking a bit peaky, but I think you'll be fine after a bit of retail therapy. Come on." Shopping. But it was like wading through treacle. Everything was an effort. I was extremely exhausted. It wasn't long before I said to my friend, "I need to go back and lie down and rest." I slept most of that afternoon. Later, when I was getting ready to go out for a meal, I noticed I kept spilling my coffee. When I picked things up with my left hand, it wasn't long before it dropped on the floor. I had little power in my left hand. Oh, and before you start thinking, it wasn't the holiday booze. No chance. By the evening, I was feeling so rough, I decided to call the hotel. Next thing I knew, I was being rushed off to hospital. A suspected stroke. 3 hours is the optimum time to get treatment after a stroke, isn't it? We all know that one. Yeah. We all know FAST. So face, arm, speech and time. So how come I didn't know that when it happened? So it wasn't ideal getting to the end of the day before treatment. At no point had I ever considered that I'd had a stroke, nor did my friend even consider I'd had a stroke. Not somebody at my age, I was a little bit younger, not so healthy as me. So do you think we should start a new acronym? How about, for people like me who didn't realise, how about we use FASTER? Never mind fast, let's go faster. So we've got face, we've got arm, face, arm, speech and time. But then we have to remember E is for everyone. Babies to oldies. It's not just old people that have strokes. as we've heard today. And then there's a case of recognising the symptoms. I didn't recognise the symptoms, my friend. My excuse was that I was feeling a little bit off. And I certainly didn't associate tiredness and continually dropping my coffee with having a stroke. So a week in hospital and a stroke as a diagnosis. That was a holiday to remember. So it was. The health care I got was truly amazing, and thanks heavens for having great insurance in place. And to HSBC, who arranged to sorted everything out for me. So how many here make sure you get a good holiday insurance, or do you go for the cheapest deal? So I can't stress enough the difference in care I would have received had I not got full cover through my bank. I'd also taken out a basic insurance, and which it turned out, when I was sitting in the hospital bed, they were going, nah, 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 to my friend. And then she pulled her insurance, and they went, yep, no problems. Holidays these days are not just about remembering my passport and my toothbrush anymore. It's also checking my insurance is valid and covers absolutely everything. And then there's also the difficulty in getting insurance as an APS patient. I think we can all recognise that one. Okay, so it wasn't until I was repatriated back to the UK that things really hit me. So I was being in hospital, I think we heard Danny saying it's like akin to living in a bubble. Arriving back home and not being able to do my daily tasks was absolutely mind-blowing. I had weakness in my left arm and my left foot. However, initially it was the exhaustion that was the most debilitating factor. It limited everything I did. I was lucky if I was able to stay awake for a total of 4 hours a day. That wasn't in one big stretch of time. That was in tiny little chunks throughout the day. Walking was exhausting. Talking was exhausting. I found it difficult to form sentences. I struggled with my words. And can I tell you one of the hardest things for me? I had no idea what emotions were anymore. I completely forgot emotions. I didn't understand them at all. So I didn't know if I felt confused, exhausted, or just plain scared. I got a call from one of the stroke nurses. She said, "Hi, how are you getting on?" This was when I'd gone home, because remember I'd been treated in Malta for the stroke. So she phoned me a few weeks later, "Hi, how are you doing?" I says, I don't know anymore. And at that, she was quick to come out and see me. So she booked me in for cardiac rehab and had to have a psychological assessment because I was beginning to show borderline depressive behaviours. Now, I still struggle to believe that because for years I've taught myself and all the staff who worked with me self-efficacy and positivity and self-esteem. And there was I, struggling with depression. The psychological report highlighted difficulties in solving and processing. What it didn't show was the fear that develops or the frustrations encountered on the way. All sounds doom and gloom. It felt like that for a number of months. It took nearly 6 months for me to get a diagnosis of APS. I had 6 months with no understanding of why this had happened to me. I'd previously been an instructor and enjoyed all the physical activities, and suddenly I'd been floored. How can this happen? Why did I not know? Why can I not do what I did last week, do it this week? And what now? Well, they say there's no better motivation than dissatisfaction and frustration. So determined, that's me. I was sure I could get well again. And somewhere in the depths of that damaged brain that I've got, I had the information on how to get healthy again. couldn't the way I was, and it wasn't me, and it wasn't fair on my family and friends. So one area I remembered about was how to work my energies in patterns. We all have patterns of peaks and troughs in our energies. How are you seeing that? That way or that way? And this is true even when you're recovering from a health event or when you're not. You've still got these peaks, offs. And I found the best way for me to work on tasks or learning was during peak times. I know Danny said it was frustrating when you just couldn't do. You couldn't get you got frustrated with being unable to do some of the things that you wanted to do. And it's hitting the exercise or the task when you're doing in a trough. That's when it's difficult to work with. So and then resting and meditating through the troughs helped me manage my energies better. And it also helped me accept in my health situation the need for my body and mind to rest. I put post-it notes all around the walls of my house, each displaying a different emotion. It was so frightening to lose my understanding emotions, but the post-it notes helped me relearn. I worked on developing my unconscious mind rather than just my conscious one. My conscious mind was struggling to understand dramatic change in my abilities and the words. And as a result of just that few seconds of that crisp packet going off in my head, it took for a clock to develop. So I used my unconscious mind to develop and work on my beliefs and behaviours. So for example, I would get my unconscious mind to work on improving my health while I was sleeping, develop my vocabulary, and also make positive change to negative thoughts and beliefs. I also did sessions of short sessions of exercise, developing it slowly each week and working with my energy levels. One thing I also did was, have you ever heard of brain gym? Anybody? Yeah. So it's about learning to work with both left and right part of the brain. It's something I used previously when I worked. I used to own care homes and looked after children, and we used to work with them using the left and right side of the brain. So I thought, that's great. Let's try this. So have you ever tried it? You just maybe write your name take your non-dominant hand. Yeah, you can nod. Let's see you take your non-dominant hand and give it a go. Write your name in the air with your non-dominant hand. Okay. Now, that's for really, really long names. I'm all right with Cath. Okay, now take both hands and write your name again. You feel how it flows? Feel the difference in the flow? So when they're asking me to work with my left hand, which was weak, I couldn't work it out. But when I worked with both hands, I was developing the skills, the muscle memory, and you'll tell me, doctors and everything, whether it's motor neurons and everything else. I've no idea, but it certainly worked with developing the weakness, or the strength, sorry. So and then there was persistence. Even 2 years after having the stroke, I knew it just didn't feel right. My family knew I wasn't right, and much of the time I felt similar to when I had a stroke. I was sleeping lots. My speech was difficult and slurred. I was not just being Scottish sometimes. I was getting some stomach and chest pains as well. I remember at one point going to my doctor's for a prescription, and I was hanging onto the desk, and I was just dripping with sweat and struggling to talk and feeling faint. So I kept a diary of my symptoms, my warfarin intake and my INR. I saw many doctors during that time, and one seemed to get so sick of seeing me. When I walked towards his door for an appointment, he'd take 2 fingers out, and pull it like a gun. What is it this time? It's like, great. So my haematologist also didn't believe me when I said that I could tell when my INR was low, just from having different symptoms. And he said to me, the only way you'll have symptoms is if you have a clot. He followed this up with, if you think you can tell, then you prove me wrong. So I went through some of my notes because for insurance purposes, I actually found his letter to my doctor. Doctors, please be aware that sometimes we get these letters. He said, I saw your pleasant lady today in the clinic. She's quite clear she has symptoms of exhaustion primarily when her INR is low. She tells me it's a common symptom and she has discussed this on various forums, but I really couldn't explain it. She'll investigate herself and explain why I am wrong, and I look forward to that. My simple mind tells me that warfarin only interferes with the clotting cascade in patients with APS, and if her INR is, this could explain a clot. But I can't explain generalised tiredness, and I think Catherine understood why I was struggling to connect this, but will assess herself. Thanks. And so I persisted to get my answers as to why I wasn't feeling well. And finally I got an appointment at London Bridge Hospital. At last thing made sense. It was Professor Kamashta as well that I saw. And he explained to me and subsequently to my doctor that I required an increase in my warfarin dose to keep my INR within the higher range required by my APS. I'm triple positive as well, so that was the range that Professor Kamashta had decided to hold me at. Of course, when you take that home to your doctor and they get a bit scared that you've got to be between 3 and 4 for an INR, it took a bit of working on. And since I've been on that higher dose, I rarely get symptoms that I mentioned, but I can still tell you when my INR is too high and too low. It's also down to my supporters and family that I've come to so far on this road to recovery. I'm so very lucky to have such wonderful people in my life. I know I was intolerable at times, I was rated and I was scared. And I was probably a downright pain to be around. Walking through the journey with me, which must have been tough for them, as our carers are often overlooked, so blinkered at the time of illness by what is. What about now? Well, if you'd only been with me in those early stages of recovery, as I feared to go out the house in case I took unwell, it would have been easy for me to assume that I wasn't going to get much better. However, 2 years down the line, or 2 years later than that, I adopted a young lady who keeps me rather busy. I manage a family business which has many mental and physical challenges and tasks. I've written and published a couple of books on warfarin and how I've worked with it. I've completed my first ever K run, which I raised cash for APS Support UK. And just this week, on Sunday there, I completed my 50th milestone park run, which is a 5k run every Saturday. So I'm going to be proud to wear my 50 park run t-shirt from now on. Have I recovered 100%? No. There are still some things I find challenging. What have I done is to surround myself with people who help me fill those gaps, who know my challenges and who can work with me to complete these. Problem solving and processing, I still struggle with. It doesn't stop me. I have new challenges and new plans. And let me give some hope to those of you who are struggling in the recovery phase. You can take my mantra. I use it every day, constantly, over and over. I don't want to be like it was before and like I was before. I want to be better. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that my story offers you some hope that there is life after stroke. Thank you very much.